And I think I was on mute there. Hello, everyone. I'm gonna give a minute or two for a couple of people to trickle in. Hi there, Lisa. Hi, thank you for joining. Hi, Bola. I can see you. We'll give another minute. Okay, we can get right into today's session on the top skills of successful project manager. I will start with an introduction of myself. My name is Anna Ladipo. I am a seasoned IT professional. I have worked as a project and program manager primarily in the financial services industry, specifically the insurance industry, for over a decade. I've been fortunate to work on large, complex projects in Fortune 500 companies, and I have amassed quite some experience in the field of project and program manager. I am an entrepreneur. I also teach within colleges, specifically on project management, business analysis, and most recently, I'm doing a bit of coaching and teaching QA, quality assurance resources. In terms of my professional designation, I have an MBA from Queen's University. I am a certified project management professional, also known as PMP. I am a certified Scrum Master, and also I have a FLMI, which is a Fellow of Life Management Institute, which is the highest academic designation for those who have pursued a fellowship in life insurance. So there are different steps along the way. You have to pass 5 exams to become an associate and 10 exams to become a fellow. I'm a fellow of the Life Management Institute. I'm a wife, I'm a mother, and like I said before, I'm an entrepreneur. And finally, I am an avid supporter of women empowerment. Now, I do run one-on-one consulting with individuals looking to take their careers to the next level, specifically in project management, coaching, mentoring. So if you want to know more about the one-on-one coaching and mentoring, hit the link in the description below. And also there's a link to book a 30-minute complimentary consultation with me. Now, why would you want to work with Anna? Well, one, I have collectively managed portfolios of projects of over $500 million. And I probably had said a million on my last session. So I have to correct that. The million is billion, so 500 million, and that portfolio keeps growing. I do understand geographical sensitivities because I've had the privilege to manage different projects within different geographies, countries, provinces, and whatnot. And finally, I've been fortunate to have hit my first 6-figure job when I was about 29 years old. So I do understand how to walk the path to get there. I was fortunate to get there in a short time frame, and I'm hoping I can do the same for you. So again, do hit me up. The link is in the description below, and it links to my calendar where you can book a complimentary consultation. Without much ado, I'm going to share my screen. The last time we left up right at leadership. Yes, leadership. So we're going to continue today with leadership. And that is a top skill every project manager should have. We are leaders. We have to lead our teams to successfully deliver critical projects within organization. We have to coach, we have to teach, we have to mentor, we have to inspire, we have to motivate. And these are all the core skills that a leader should have. And leadership, again, is giving your team clear direction and keeping them motivated and accountable, which is what we do. We have to give clear direction. We have to have clear communication at all levels with different stakeholders we're working with to ensure that our projects or programs are successful. Now, how do you develop your leadership skills? I'm very much interested in not just giving definitions, but also giving hopefully practical steps for how to develop these skills. One is follow successful leaders. So practice the traits of successful leaders. And it could be leaders that you aspire to be within your organization. It could be outside your organization, right? It could be political leaders. It could be anyone that you've seen some leadership qualities in them that you would like to emulate. Ensure that you follow those leaders. It could be online. It could be even within or outside of your organization. Don't be shy to reach out to people and try to establish some sort of relationship with them. And hopefully that could lead to some sort of mentoring. So follow, and keep a close watch on leaders that you aspire to be and practice their traits and how, they run things. Practice discipline. Every good leader is disciplined. For example, if you're a project manager, part of being disciplined is if you do schedule a meeting, ensure that you're there early. Coming to your meetings late is really not acceptable. And that kind of behavior could potentially derail, the discipline and the focus of the team members. So you have to lead by example and show a high level of discipline, and also walk the walk, don't just talk the talk. So if you're very stringent on how team members need to document or store information, for example, in a shared drive, like I would always tell my team members to ensure that the most recent information is readily available with very good descriptions, because God forbid, if something happens, you want to be able to pick up that information and give it to someone else and they can run with it. Now, if you're asking your team members to do that and you're not doing that, then that's a problem. So always practice what you preach, exhibit the highest level of discipline so that your team members do not fall off the radar. And I can tell you, I've seen it happen over and over again. Once you lack discipline, your team members are going to feed off of that lack of discipline. And most times, guess who's accountable? You. Before they look at the team members, it's going to be you. So again, I can't stress it enough. Ensure that you're disciplined. How do you practice leadership? Take on more projects. I believe that I've been able to build my skills and resilience and character from handling the toughest projects that at times I ask myself, how did I get here? Be intentional. At times it wasn't intentional on my path. What was intentional on my path was success and striving for more, but not necessarily asking for more complex projects. But I found that as I did that, it was the catalyst for me to grow. And I remember joking with another PM saying, why do I always get all these complex projects? Why? But I stopped complaining about it because I realized it is really that catalyst that has gotten me to where I am. So open yourself up to take on more projects. That way, it's a great way to develop your leadership skills. Another way to practice good leadership or develop it is learn to follow. Yeah, learn to follow. I think that's already a loaded statement. You have to follow. There's something also called servant leadership. Like you serve, it's not just about you being the bull in the china shop or being the leader. You also have to learn to follow, because you will have your bosses. You even have team members who might potentially have more experience than you. You can't know everything. At times, even a developer on your project might have 30 years of experience developing. And at times, you have to follow their lead if they're making recommendations. So learn to follow. Inspire others. And I'm going to move my PowerPoint because I think I haven't moved it a little. And that's because a lot of these, it's right up here. So we're still on the practice, the traits of successful leaders. Keep learning. I probably talked about reading in another session. Ensure that you keep learning. Try to expand your horizon beyond your core functions as a project manager. Try to understand what your developers are doing. You don't have to code, but at least understand, what platform are they coding on? What are the complexities? Try and expand your horizon. Also, you have QA team members, you have business analysts on your teams. Keep learning. It never goes to waste. Another way to practice, develop or practice good leadership, or develop it, is what we're talking about, is resolving conflict. So there will be conflict. Don't shy away from it. Resolve conflicts between your teams. I always have that on my teams. A BA is in disagreement with the developer, or a developer is in disagreement with the quality assurance specialist on how they need to test or what they need to test. Resolve conflict. That builds leadership. Don't bury your head in the sand. Ensure that you're objective. You're able to remove yourself from the situation. Well, not remove yourself, but take a step back and look at it objectively and hear everyone's point of view. Don't be biased. Don't make your decisions based on emotion or gossip. Be very objective. Once you start to resolve conflict, it builds leadership. It might be a little hard at first, but as you begin to get yourself a little more in there and be present and exhibit leadership when you're resolving conflicts, it helps you develop your leadership skills, and it becomes easier. So resolving conflicts is a good way to develop leadership. And finally, ensure that you're a discerning listener. So I think on another session, I said you should listen to understand before you respond, and not just listen to respond. So practice active listening. Be discerning when you're listening. Listen beyond what you're hearing. Take some time to process that information before you make decisions or you give your feedback. It's okay to tell people, thank you for that information. I can if it's okay, I'd like to take that away and get back to you. You don't always have to have a response right there and then. By doing that, you're developing your leadership skills. If you can take it away, process it, come back with really good answers. When you do that consistently, you learn to trust your own judgment, and you can have more instantaneous, feedback, discernment, and decision making. Okay, let's go on to the last top skill of a project manager, which is problem-solving ability. And we've talked about that a couple of times within this session. And project managers should focus on a systematic approach to solving problems. Use the 5-step technique. And that's going to be my last enumeration of an approach today, and this will be on problem solving, and we are going to sign off after that. First and foremost is define the problem. Define the problem. Define the problem. Try to understand the problem. It could be within the project where there is an issue with the code. Get your developers, your QA, your business analysts, your team together and define what the problem is. At times, it's not okay just to rely on information you get in an email or just a quick conversation. Try to dig a little more into defining what the problem is. It could be a brainstorming session. It could just be a one-on-one with someone like your developer to get more understanding to define it. Secondly, specify what caused the problem. And that's, I can't say more about that. Be specific. Don't be nebulous or don't make assumptions. Be specific. And I personally, I'm very collaborative. That's the way I work with my team members. So I try not to make decisions in a vacuum. I always leverage the expertise of people around me. So ensure you're leveraging the expertise of people around you to do that. The third approach is create ideas. Again, leverage the expertise of your team members to create new ideas. At times it's fun. Having a brainstorming sessions and being creative is a good way of developing your problem solving abilities, is coming up with new ideas. Fourth is specify the best solution. Specify what the best solution is. I'm very particular about, I have a systematic approach when there's a problem, especially when something has happened within my project and it's caused quite a significant impact that I need to let my stakeholders know, the business, and that'll be the business, the clients, and whoever is funding the project. I always ensure that I haven't gone to them only with the problem. I try as much as possible to come up with recommendations to make it easier for them to make a decision. Now, if there is a proposed solution, something that we're leaning more towards, I would almost not push them in that direction, but I make sure that I have enough evidence to help them make quick decisions. And once you do that, you find that you continue or you start to build credibility because you're not only running with them, say, hey, you know, there's a problem. No, you're coming with recommendations and different solutions to make it easier for them to make a decision. And, you know, the recommendations or possible solutions could be based on some kind of monetary impact. So, for example, if you go with solution A, it's going to cost you 50K, but the benefit is going to be like 5 million. If you go with solution B, it's going to cost you 100K, but the benefit is only going to be like 2 million. That's the way your stakeholders think. They think in terms of money and benefit. So try as much as possible to ensure that you're thinking like them. And as you do that, you'll begin to build your problem solving skill or ability, if I can say. And finally, write the steps to take action. Document. Try as much as possible to create a repeatable process because you might have to go back. That problem might rear its head again. And if you don't have it documented, guess what? You're starting from ground zero again. So ensure that you've documented so that you can easily reference back and it makes it easier to solve the problem next time. Having said that, how to solve problems, those are the 5 steps. And finally, how do you develop it? How do you develop your problem solving abilities? And I'll just quickly enumerate 4 steps and we're going to wrap it up. 1 is focus on the solution. It's easy to become hyper-focused on the conditions that created the problem. Focus on the solution, focus on the solution, focus on the solution. 2, clearly define the problem. We've talked about that before. It's hard to solve a nebulous problem you've never taken a look to clearly define. We already talked about that. 3 is agree on a process. Agree with your team members on a process that's workable. We've talked about bringing about solutions, brainstorming. And finally, be sure to use active listening. Having said that, this is a wrap for our session. Thank you for joining. Remember, if you want to work with me one-on-one, you can hit the link below. And this is a no commitment. You can start just with a 30-minute consultation, a complimentary call, a free complimentary call for 30 minutes. You can book that time. The link is below. My calendar is up to date there. Ensure you reach out to me or you send an email if you want more information. It's info@analyticbot.com. Again, thank you for joining. I hope this session has been beneficial to you. And I'm looking forward to more of these kinds of sessions. Thank you, everyone, and have a good rest of the day. Bye.